graders. Sir Lancelot just wanted to say hello. So many of you have commented on how much fun it is to have him in our lessons. So there he is. Okay, moving on today. We're going to be dealing with page 4 of your O Susanna packet. Oh, and even my dog's getting into the act. Hi, Kahlua. How are you? Okay, the whole gang's here almost. All right, so page 4. I need you to take a little journey with me. We're going to go back 171 years to the California Gold Rush, an event that actually changed world history. Now, during the gold rush, there were a lot of ways that you could get to California from the East Coast. And I'd like to talk about them because the song version of O Susanna we're using today actually is about one of the 3 routes. Now, the first was the Overland Route. You simply went across the country. Now, I shouldn't say simply because it took 4 to 6 months to do this. There are a lot of hardships on the way. So it was a long, tough journey. The next journey, which was the shortest, but probably the most dangerous journey, took only 1 month. You boarded a ship somewhere here on the East Coast and you sailed down to Central America to a little strip of land called the Isthmus of Panama. Today, we have the Panama Canal that we can go through and take a shortcut. But back in those days of the gold rush, we didn't have it. So you got off the ship and then you had to navigate that little strip of land. But there were 3 problems, 3 dangers. Number 1, there was quicksand. And that was a very dangerous type of sand that just kind of pulled you under if you weren't careful. The second were disease-causing mosquitoes. Big ones, okay? So oftentimes people would get malaria. The third one, venomous, awful snakes. And you could get bitten at any time. So although it was a short journey, it was really, really dangerous. And then if you survived all that, then you got on another ship and you sailed all the way up to San Francisco and then got to the gold fields in Sacramento. Now, the third way to do this is, I'm sorry, boys and girls, I'm just laughing at Lancelot. Come on, we're gonna get you down, kitty. There you go. The third way to get to the gold fields took the longest amount of time, and there were some perils associated with too. But you left the East Coast, you sailed all the way down, you sailed past South America, all the way to Cape Horn and up the other side of South America and up to San Francisco. Now, this could take anywhere from 6 to 8 months. And again, it wasn't without its dangers too. And we're going to talk about those as we go through the song. So, let's take a look at your music. This is a parody. That means somebody took Stephen Foster's original O Susanna and changed the lyrics. There are a lot of people who do parodies right now. In fact, 2 years ago at Music Night at Carpenter, Mr. Martinez invited one of the greatest parody composers in our country, actually, to come and perform. His name is Weird Al Yankovic. And Weird Al is really brilliant and really clever, and he writes parodies all the time. So somebody did this way back in the 1849 era. So it's about a young man who's going to leave for the California goldfields, and he's going to sail on a ship called the Eliza. And so this new version actually became the theme song of the 49ers. That's how popular this version became to those gold miners. So let's learn the song, and I'll teach you a few things along the way. I came from Salem City with my Watchman on my knee. Your turn. Salem City with my Watchman on my knee. I'm going to California. Uh-oh. That doesn't fit. You go away. where's his treat? All right, here you go. Did you get it now? Okay, all right. Oh, things are funny at the Tawil household. Okay, did you get your treat now? That's it, you can go away. Go do cat things. Okay, listen again. I'm going to California. So what had to happen was you had to deliberately mispronounce the word California so that you could make it into California, 5 syllables. So it goes like this. I'm going to California, the gold dust for to see. Can you try that? I'm going to California, the gold dust for to see. Good. Next. It rained all night the day I left, the weather it was dry. Oh, I hope you're enjoying this. Okay, let's try that again. Your turn. It rained all night the day I left, the weather it was dry. And the next part. The sun so hot I froze to death, oh brothers don't you cry, your turn. The sun so hot I froze to death, oh brothers don't you cry. Good. And then the verse. Oh California, that's a state for me. I'm going to San Francisco with my washpan on my knee. Can you sing that refrain with me? Here we go. Oh California, that's a state for me. I'm going to San Francisco with my washman on my knee. Okay, let's do the whole thing from the beginning. Ready and go. I came from Salem City with my washman on my knee. I'm going to California, the gold dust for to see. It rained all night the day I left, the weather it was dry. The sun so hot I froze to death, oh brothers don't you cry. Oh California, that's a state for me. I'm going to San Francisco with my washman on my knee. Now, in case you forgot, this is what a washpan looks like. It's a shallow pan, and you actually dip it in a river and you fill it with whatever is resting on the bottom of the river, dirt, sand, silt, and you swirl it. And as the water comes out, the heavier gold nuggets stay at the bottom of the pan. If you were a miner and you got a washpan full of that many gold nuggets, you would be really excited because you would have done very well. So, the next verse. Now, it's going to tell us about how our little gold miner got on board the Liza ship. I jumped aboard the Liza ship and traveled on the sea. You try it. I jumped aboard the Liza ship and traveled on the sea. And every time I thought of home, I wished it wasn't me. Your turn. And every time I thought of home, I wished it wasn't me. Uh-oh, doesn't sound like he was very happy, does it? Every time I thought of home, I wish I wasn't there on that ship. Well, one of the reasons, boys and girls, is that when they get to the Cape Horn, when the warm waters of the Pacific, right here, meet the cold waters of the Atlantic, and the two oceans have vastly different temperature. So we're looking right here, Atlantic meets Pacific. They have horrendous storms. In fact, you can have waves 20 feet tall. If you would see one of those waves coming at you, it is terrifying. And it just keeps going, and you rock, and you rock, and you rock for hours. And can you imagine being seasick? Yeah. So they describe it like this. The vessel reared like any horse that had of oats a wealth. So a horse that has a lot of oats and is very happy and well fed, you know how when the rodeo riders ride them and the horses buck and try to throw the rodeo riders off? Well, that's exactly what that ship felt like. So let's have you try to sing that. The vessel reared like any horse that had a boat so well. And the next part, I wished it wouldn't throw me so, I thought I'd throw myself. People have been known to get so crazed by seasickness that they will jump overboard from the ship just to make it stop. Of course, when you jump off a perfectly good ship into a raging, waving ocean, then you have a whole set of other problems like drowning and surviving. So it sounds like our young man was just not very happy. Okay, let's do the second verse. Are you finding out that this journey was not as easy as it might seem? Lance? Oh.
Put him up here.
I love you. Goodbye.
Put him up here.
Okay, here we go. I jumped aboard the Liza ship and traveled on the sea. And every time I thought of home, I wished it wasn't me. The vessel reared like any horse that had of oats so well. I wished it wouldn't throw me so, I thought I'd throw myself. And let's do the refrain. Oh, California, that's the state for me. I'm going from San Francisco with my washman on my knee. Okay, next verse. It's pretty straightforward. So just do me a favor, sing after me and we'll get through it. And then when we get to the next part, I'll teach you a few new things. So here we go. I thought of all the pleasant times we've had together here. Your turn. I thought of all the pleasant times I've had together here. I thought I ought to cry a bit, but couldn't find a tear. I thought I ought to cry a bit, but couldn't find a tear. The pilot's bread was in my mouth, the gold dust in my eye. The pilot's bread was in my mouth, the gold dust in my eye. Gotta talk about pilot's bread. Pilot's bread was actually a very hard cracker. Looked like this. It was made primarily of flour and water and salt. They were also named jawbreakers because you could crack your teeth on this. If you didn't dip it in your tea or your coffee, that's what it was meant to be dipped in to make it last longer. Also, it was known during the American Civil War, 20 years later, as hardtack. And the other nickname for it was a worm castle because it was not uncommon, remember you're out to sea for 6 to 8 months, that mealworms would burrow into this and make their home inside the pilot's bread. Now that sounds really, really gross, and it is, except it was a little extra protein, a little added bonus in your pilot's bread. Not sure most of us would really want that, but that's what pilot's bread was. Okay, going on. And though I'm going far away, dear brothers, don't you cry, your turn. And though I'm going far away, dear brothers, don't you cry. Here we go, let's do verse 3. Did you notice, by the way, how the lyrics fit the melody exactly? They're not stretched, they're not changed, except for California. Okay, good parody when the lyrics fit very easily. Okay, here we go, verse 3. I thought of all the pleasant times we've had together here. I thought I ought to cry a bit, but couldn't find a tear. The pilot's bread was in my mouth, the gold dust in my eye. Though I'm going far away, dear brothers, don't you cry. And the refrain, oh, California, that's the state for me. I'm going to San Francisco with my washman on my knee. Okay, and finally, this song was sung, I'm sure, to keep their spirits up because you're pitching, you're rocking, you're seasick, you're eating hardtack with worms. It's just yucky all the way around, but you have to remind yourself of why you're doing it, and this last verse does it. But again, we have a problem with the words fitting. Listen to the first line of verse 4. I soon shall be in Frisco. Oops, we have another note left over. Listen again. I soon shall be in Frisco. So, again, we have to change that word a little bit. We have to stretch it out. We have 3 notes and only 2 syllables. So we solve that problem by stretching it out to Frisco. Can you sing that? Frisco. So listen to the line. I'll sing it and then you sing it. I soon shall be in Frisco, and there I'll look around. Your turn. I soon shall be in Frisco, and there I'll look around. Okay, next line. And when I see the gold lumps there, I'll pick them off the ground. And when I see the gold lumps there, I'll pick them off the ground. That's optimistic because that didn't happen. You had to really mine or pan for them. But again, they're trying to keep their spirits up. Here's the next one. I'll scrape the mountains clean, my boys. I'll drain the rivers dry. Your turn. I'll scrape the mountains clean, my boys. I'll drain the rivers dry. A pocket full of rocks bring home, so brothers, don't you cry. Your turn. Pocket full of rocks bring home, so brothers, don't you cry. And the refrain. Oh, California, that's the state for me. I'm going to San Francisco with my washman on my knee. Good job, everybody. Good job. Okay. Well, that's a parody, and again, that became the official theme song of all of the 49ers. Now, we have a couple special facts to fill out at the bottom. And the first says the meter of this song. Last year in 3rd grade, I taught you a way to listen for meter using the motions tap, nod, count. So I want you to pick your favorite hand right now. And as I play this, you're simply going to tap the beats on your leg. Remember, the beats are steady. We're not talking about rhythm. We're talking about the underlying beats of the song. Now, as you listen, the next thing to do is nod when you hear a louder or stronger beat. Keep tapping. Finally, we add the last step and we count. Now, whenever you nod, whenever you hear that strong accented beat, you need to count beat 1. Then you count the number of beats after that until you nod again. Hint is pretty quick. Here we go. Tap first. So our meter is 2. We have 2 beats in every measure. We don't find that very often, but for some reason that's what Stephen Collins Foster did when he wrote the original O Susanna. So if you can just fill in the number 2 with your pencil, we'll move on. The accent is on the blank beat of each measure. To accent something means to bring it out, to make it more noticeable, to make it stronger. So you nodded your head when you heard a stronger or accented beat. Which one was that? Was it 1 or 2? Hopefully you said 1, because that's true in most music. Almost always the accent is on the first beat. Good. Now, Our song has two parts, the blank and the blank. The part that tells the story is called the verse, V-E-R-S-E. And then the second part of the song is the fun part. Oh, California, that's the state for me. And if you look up at those lyrics, it tells you what that part of the song is called. It's called the refrain. And it's easy to remember that word because the refrain, R-E, refrain, repeats, R-E-P-E-A-T-S. So if you think of those words as kind of matching. Now, that answers the next question. Which part of the song does not change each time you sing it? Well, it can't be the verse because there's 4 of them. So which part always stays the same? The refrain. So you can fill that in there. Two more questions and then we're finished for the day. What can you tell about the journey by sea to the goldfields from the lyrics of this song? Tell me about what it was like sailing on that ship. There's a lot of clues in verse 2 if you look carefully. Yep, it reared, it was scary, I got seasick, I just wanted it to stop, so I almost jumped overboard. It took a lot of courage to do that. And you had to eat that pilot spread with the mealworms in it. Yuck. So any one of those are good answers for that question. I'm going to wait for a couple seconds. And then finally, the last question, and it's really actually a very important one. What was the attitude of those traveling to California to search for gold? There are several answers to this. For example, if you look at verse 4, there are several hints. Is this person determined? Is this person optimistic that he's going to scrape the mountains clean and drain the rivers dry and bring home a whole big clump of gold nuggets? Absolutely. Was he pretty courageous to leave everything and go on this 6-month journey that was pretty dangerous? I think so. Was the song enthusiastic? Was the song, even despite the hardships, kind of happy? Those are all terrific answers. So please put it in your own words and answer the final question. And I'll wait. Now, 4th graders, the good news is you don't have any homework this week. I will be sending you back comments on your lyrics, lines 1 and 2. I would take this week, though, to think about your lyrics. Kind of rough out some ideas. Remember that you can't repeat any information that you've already given me. You want to make sure that everything is new. And somewhere in the song, you need to fit your first name. If you already did it in lines 1 and 2, perfect. You can do it in lines 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. But think about things you can talk about in lines 3 and 4 to tell your own story. And I will see you the next time we meet online. Have a magical, musical week. Stay home. Stay safe. Bye.